Okay, 10 o'clock. Thank you, Terrence.
Absolutely. So are we ready to get going?
Yes.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us for the CCS monthly webinar. This month, we're going to be focusing on the journey home and highlighting the housing continuum of care. My name is Terrence Watkins, and I'm the Executive Director of Housing and Medical Respite Services. It was just too long a title to put in that small section, so I just put housing. And I oversee all the transitional housing programs, our HUD and COC funded programs, and the emergency shelters for CCS. In today's session, we will provide an overview of the program. We're going to define what continuum of care means. We're going to explain the housing support services. We'll talk about our current progress in creating the continuum of care. We'll talk about next steps, and we will discuss future plans and partnerships. At the end, we will leave time for open conversations, and you can bombard me with all of the questions you have. So real quickly, I wanted to give an overview. So in 2024, whoops, I accidentally hit a button. There we go. We'll try that again. In 2024, CCS made the decision to restructure its housing services. They wanted to consolidate all of the programs into one department, which would allow increased uniformity and better coordination of services amongst the different programs. CCS operates 3 domestic violence shelters, the Medical Respite Casa de Respiro program facility. We have the Good Neighbor Alliance Shelter, or GNA, in Cochise County. We have 5 transitional housing locations, 1 elderly housing complex. We have a community service division that manages multiple housing grants from multiple funders. The objective is to try and get all of these programs to operate in an efficient, succinct, supportive manner that would allow us to pool our resources and ensure that an individual who seeks assistance from us can be supported from homelessness to stably housed, regardless of how they came into the program. So the definition of a continuum of care is an integrated system that provides coordinated and consistent healthcare services across a spectrum of needs. And over time, it ensures seamless transitions between different levels of care. Catholic Community Services views housing as healthcare. So we've been creating a system to ensure that we can provide services to individuals at various levels of homelessness with different needs and barriers, while making sure that they all hopefully arrive at the same destination, which is ending their homelessness. We encounter individuals at the shelter level. As we encounter individuals at the shelter level, we focus on ending their homelessness. So we immediately start working with the participants to achieve that result. So because it's Friday, and I know everybody didn't want a stuffy presentation, let me tell you a story. I'd like you to meet Timmy, Jenny, and their kids. So Timmy, his wife, Jenny, and their 2 children have been struggling to maintain their housing. Timmy got laid off, and that was what finally kicked it over the edge, and they ended up homeless. And then they went to the Good Neighbor Alliance shelter. So after completing an assessment with the staff, it was determined that Timmy, he did not have a high school diploma. Jenny had a high school diploma, but she had limited work experience. Additional needs that were identified was that they were not receiving any mainstream benefits. Jenny actually had a misdemeanor warrant. And one of the kids had behavioral health concerns which had not been addressed because they did not have insurance. So while the staff was working with them to create a service plan, they created the following goals. For the family, they wanted to apply for Medicaid and SNAP benefits, acquire clothing and hygiene items for everyone in the family, ensure that the kids were enrolled in school. Jimmy also got enrolled in school in an adult education class to obtain his GED. Jenny, they want to assist her in career exploration to determine what kind of trade she would like to pursue. They contacted the local justice court to assist Jenny in getting her warrants quashed, enroll the kids in behavioral health services. And we also want to ask the family, the parents, if they want to participate in behavioral health services. We want to establish medical care for the entire family. And we want to help them apply for Section 8, HUD Continuum of Care housing, apply for housing at low-income tax properties, and we would also submit a referral for them to go to the CCS Families Transitional Housing Program. So while they're in the shelter, staff work with them to start addressing the goals listed on their service plan. As most of these goals could be considered medium term, we don't really expect them to complete them all while in the shelter. We're not expecting Jenny to get a vocational training completed while she's still there, but these are goals that we want to start working with, as these are factors that contributed to their homelessness. CCS can transfer this family to transitional housing or move them on to independent housing. And that is the definition of the continuum of care, being able to meet them wherever they are and work with them until they are stably housed. All right. So additional services that we can provide. So CCS administers eviction prevention funds from Catholic Charities USA, which allows us to assist individuals who are on the verge of becoming homeless. If we can prevent you from ever entering the system, that is the best way to treat homelessness. With our merger or acquisition of Good Neighbor Alliance and the enrollment in Access's H2O program, we've been able to start providing outreach services, engaging individuals that are living in the washes and deserts in Cochise County and working to get them into the shelter system. Currently, we're working on developing a new type of housing, which would include transitional housing, low-income housing, and workforce development housing, which would provide us with the ability to transition participants into permanent housing that they can afford without even needing to get a subsidy. What else? Sadly, we had to pause our homebuyer program earlier this year, but we're working on acquiring additional funding and training.
This past week was my first week, so I'll be continuing with that.
Please mute your phones. Thank you.
Oh, sorry about that. But we've been working on acquiring additional funding, which would help us be able to restart the program. The ability to meet our participant needs at every level, coupled with being able to provide every needed service or refer them to someone who can, is at the heart of our continuum of care. All right. So as you can see, I kind of went wild with ChatGPT and started making up all of these cartoon images and stuff. The little bus here does say Catholic Community Services, but that is definitely not our logo. So I'll keep working with that until I can get that perfected. But the best way to describe our housing support services is intensive outpatient treatment on wheels. A participant in any of our programs can expect to receive the same level of services they would receive from a case manager at an outpatient behavioral health center except we provide the services to you in your home or in the shelter or anywhere else that you might be. It's kind of a decentralized process where it's a break from the norm where traditionally you would go into the office, but now we bring the services to you. So for all of our housing programs, we provide or will provide services focused on addressing their social determinants of health, primarily medical and behavioral health, including substance use, housing, educational and vocational, employment, and social engagement. As in the example of Timmy, if you need education, we'll get you enrolled in we'll get you enrolled in adult education classes, vocational training, English as a second language, or any other type of schooling that you would need in order to reach your goals. And this goes for any service that's needed for the participants to achieve the stability in their life. When they enter our program, they are provided with a comprehensive assessment so we can identify areas of concern that need to be addressed. Based on those needs, we will work with them to develop an individualized service plan, which will serve as a roadmap for providing services to them. We use the comprehensive assessment, individualized service planning, case management, peer support, independent living skills, educational and vocational services, and counseling to help the participants achieve the goals that they have. All right, so current progress. For the past few years, CCS has been working on creating this housing continuum of care. And in this time, we've been successful in the implementation of behavioral health services, expansion of transitional housing program, creation of transitional housing for domestic violence programs, opening of the medical respite facility, and acquiring the Good Neighbor Alliance shelter. In the implementation of behavioral health services, for the past few years, we've been expanding to be able to provide behavioral health services to participants in all of our programs, including individuals in housing. This has been foundational in creating a structure for how services will be delivered to program participants. In the expansion of transitional housing, due to recent policy changes at the federal level, the transitional housing program continues to grow larger by the day, to include expanding the model with funding for the domestic violence programs. With the opening of medical respite Casa de Respiro, this is the only medical respite facility in Southern Arizona, which provides a safe, sanitary place for individuals who are homeless and recovering from medical procedures to recuperate. And acquiring the Good Neighbor Alliance shelter, we're able to provide shelter and outreach services throughout Cochise County. When I said there was really no wrong door, it doesn't matter if you came in through Casa de Respiro or the domestic violence programs or through the homeless shelter. You would still receive the same level of services to help you reach the same goals. All right, so next steps. As we continue to develop new programs and divisions, we will continue to work on revamping existing programs and bringing all programs and divisions up to the same level of functioning with uniform services and operating procedures in every program. I know that my team wishes I would take a breath in between projects before starting a new one, but unfortunately, the universe and Elena have other plans. In truth, CCS has been consistently engaged by partners in the community to assist in or accept new projects. We already made the decision that we're not here to chase grants just for the sake of having a new grant, but there are several grants that have been offered, or opportunities that actually accentuate the programs that we have, and they fit in with our mission and our goals. And so those are the ones that we continually add to the program. So for many years, CCS operated a home buyer down payment assistance program. And we're having discussions with CCUSA to get this program up and running again, if funding permitted. We want to make sure that we have it, but we also want to make sure that it's a sustainable, financially sustainable program. One of the biggest, newest things that kind of came out of left field is we are currently working in partnership with the city of Sierra Vista, the Sierra Vista Industrial Development Authority, and Arizona State University's School of Architecture and Design to create a multi-function micro-community that will provide units or tiny homes for transitional housing, low-income participants, and workforce development. When I say that it came out of left field, ASU has actually adopted the design of this property as their class curriculum for the 2025-2026 school year. And the way it's working is right now they have 8 different designs, and they will compete against each other to break it down to 4, then to 2, and then they will have the one design that is going to go forward. And so then they will start budgeting and figuring out the cost of this property. It's super cool. Everyone's like really super excited, and we're just really happy that that one's in the working. And then we were approached by the city of Tucson to partner with them in the creation of transitional housing programs for seniors. Seniors is the fastest growing population of homeless individuals, and we're just honored to play an active role in addressing this situation. So as previously mentioned, we've been approached to start multiple projects, but we are moving forward in a sustainable manner, and we want to make sure that every program will be able to financially support itself. How can you support? Policy, I really feel like I should go apply for my law degree now, because we have been continually monitoring all public policy as it relates to housing, because it tends to change by the day recently. So, but if board members, companies, agencies, and community members would like to submit letters of support for any upcoming projects, that would be awesome. When we submit our packets and our proposals, to be able to show that we do have the support of the community in pushing forward this project, it goes a long way. As far as volunteers, all of our projects would love to benefit from having volunteers. I'll personally say that housing is, I feel it's one of the most rewarding services you can do, because it's tangible and you actually get to see changes happening in people's lives every single day. But all of our programs could definitely use volunteers at Medical Respite, at Good Neighbor Alliance, maybe an outreach. We have a point in time count coming up. So your assistance in having extra volunteers to go in and provide surveys for the homeless individuals throughout Southern Arizona would also be greatly appreciated. As far as donations, we put on there financial donations are always welcome. A lot of time we do have needs for furniture and clothes, but unfortunately that would take a lot of storage space to be able to hold it until it was ready. So financial donations would always be best. Most programs, while we have funding to be able to provide services, the funding does have limitations. So if we wanted to be able to buy school clothes for kids going back to school, or Thanksgiving dinner, or help the families buy Christmas presents. Those are the types of things that actually like make the house that they're living in a home. And any financial donations would help with us in being able to achieve that. So I have been jabbering on for the last 20 minutes. And at this time, I will open it up for any questions that anyone has.
This is Laura. Would there be an opportunity to sponsor a family for the holidays?
I'm absolutely sure we could make that happen. I think that family would be, really any family would be um, grateful for that to happen. So yes.
Terrence, this is Patsy. Do
Hi,
we
Patsy.
have any other senior income housing other than Barrio Viejo within Catholic Community Services? Is that our only place?
Right now, we only have Barrio Viejo. But as I mentioned in the presentation, we are working with the city of Tucson to put together a proposal for the upcoming HUD notice of funding notice of funding opportunity to create transitional housing strictly for seniors.
Okay, perfect. And then the folks that are currently in our transitional homes, are they furnished, or the people bring what they have into the homes?
A lot of times people bring what they have, and some of the families that are in there are ones that, like Timmy, they had a house and then they just lost it and they're just really struggling on the limit. If they have furniture, they can bring it. If they do not have furniture, then the awesome, amazing, dedicated team over there has been making sure they can find a way to get some furniture for them.
Okay.
Again, that's another reason why the financial donations are preferable,
Okay.
because I'm sorry, go ahead.
And if they're going to, when they graduate, is what I like to call it, from transitional housing into their own place, do they get to take everything that they have with them, or anything that was um, uh, received for them remains in the home for the next family?
So I want you to, when you leave our program, and it is a graduate from our program, we want you to be stable in your new housing. So the program participants have requirements to save 10% of their discretionary income every month. But how stable would you be if you moved, we kept the furniture, and you had to spend your nest egg to buy new furniture? So by all means, if you absolutely need it, please take it with you.
Excellent. Thank you.
You got it.
Hey, Terrence, it's Tom.
Hi, Tom.
So once they graduate from the system, do we continue to be in contact with them to provide support to just make sure that they remain successful?
Absolutely. So because you graduated our program and you moved into your own house, that doesn't mean that life's great and you're not going to need any more assistance. It's totally voluntary after they leave, and they can be like, no, I'm good. Thank you for your services. High five. I'm out. Or they can say, yeah, we would still like to be able to receive support services, and we would continue to provide them to them. We actually also provide housing support services to people that don't even live in CCS properties. It's just a service that we offer to partners in the community. Sophia?
Hi, I have a question. So it looks like you guys are going to be doing behavioral health services, obviously for these clients out in the community. My question is, though, are you guys going to be providing just mental health, no like substance use, anger management, things like that? Is this just mental health, like dealing with the mental health diagnoses?
So when I put in the presentation I had that we want to focus on their social determinants of health as a whole. And so while we're not licensed to be a substance abuse treatment facility, but we will absolutely get you connected to one if that's what you need. My housing specialists are not counselors, but CCS does have counselors that work for them. So we would get you connected to them. If you don't want counseling from CCS, great. Where do you want it from? And we make sure that we get you the services that you need, based on it's their choice of where to get it. But we just want to make sure that we're connecting them to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so in other words, you guys are going to provide some behavioral health services, and what
Correct.
you're not able to provide, you're going to refer out to the agencies that you need to in order to provide those services to these clients.
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
No problem. I typically have this thing where I wait until it's uncomfortable. The silence gets uncomfortable before I move on. So if nobody has any other questions, I want to thank you all very much for joining us. If you have any questions or need to follow up, my contact information is on the screen. And please feel free to reach out to me. And our list of upcoming webinars is now posted on there. And of course, Laura will be sending this out as well. The next webinar is actually scheduled for November 21st, and it's Bridging Care Through Technology. I want to thank you all very much for joining us. And with that, I will turn it back over to Laura.
Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you, Terrence, for all you do.
Thank you, Terrence.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
All right, thank you.
Bye, thank you.